Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you through what I've been up to over the last week or so. We've had a few new arrivals and there's been all sorts of different things going on, so I wanted to talk you through what's been happening here. We're having a bit of a hot spell at the moment as well, which is adding a bit of an extra challenge in the week, and it just makes me have to think a little bit harder about how I keep all the animals comfortable, especially for the brooding birds that are sitting on young, because they get very warm doing that. So it's important for me just to make sure that I can keep them as comfortable as possible. On Friday I picked up my new puppy. His name is Bryn and he is an Italian Spinoni. They are the oldest breed of hunt point retrieve dog, which is what we call a HPR. I absolutely love pointing dogs. They are my cup of tea, and Bryn is absolutely fantastic. He's quite different to my other dogs. He's a little bit more reserved, which is quite a nice change because I tend to choose quite dominant, very sort of forward going dogs, whereas he's actually quite a lot more steady, and he will need a little bit more encouragement as we go, but you do often find that they make for some really steady, sensible, well-trained dogs at the end of it. They just need a little bit more care in terms of taking the time to let them work things out. So we are going to have some good fun with him in the coming months. He's settling in well now. It took him a couple of days to get used to everything because it's a big change, especially living on a farm where there's lots of other dogs and animals and noises and trucks and tractors. He's had quite a big learning curve from the quiet back garden he was in, but he is taking it all in his stride, which is really, really nice. Late on Friday night when I got back from the puppy, the first of the Buzzard chicks hatched, which was really lovely, and he had a really good hatch. He didn't need any help to get out of the egg, so it was really quite wonderful to come home and to see that happening. Literally as I got in, he was in the final part of his hatch, which was just fantastic. We always start the chicks off that we hatch for a couple of days with us so we can feed them, get their energy up, make sure there's no health issues, and then once they're strong enough to beg for food, we put them back in with the parents. However, unfortunately, this didn't go very well for this little buzzard chick, and I had to intervene. It's really important that we get these birds to naturally rear, however, it doesn't always go to plan, and his parents are first-time parents, so I've had to help them to get them this far because they've just broken eggs in past years, which means we've not even had the chance of chicks. This year I made the decision that because they were quite broody that I would risk putting a chick under, but obviously I watched when it happened. The chick was in there for 2.5 minutes before I had to intervene because essentially the mum really wasn't sure what he was and she basically decided that he was dinner. So that's where we come in. Now, it sounds pretty traumatic, and trust me, it really was to be there, but it's something that I half expected. It's quite a tricky process because we want them to rear, we want them to go through that, but it's quite important to choose the moment. So on this occasion I decided that it was actually better that I took the chick back out, and he is now under a foster mum. So his mum is actually a goshawk now, so he is being naturally reared, however he's being reared by a goshawk, not a common buzzard. Now this will make absolutely no difference to him in the long run, but it will help him to be reared in a natural way, so he grows up knowing that he is a bird. I've currently got another buzzard hatching, and I'm sure you'll get to see him very soon, and then in the next couple of days the goshawk chicks are going to start to hatch as well. Some of those will be naturally reared and some of those will be hand reared, and that depends on the job that they're going off to do and the way that they're going to be flown, so people have a different preference. It'll be interesting to see what hatches there. Even though it's been really hot this last couple of weeks, I've been working hard with the falcons, getting them going again. They've just come off their holiday rest and breeding rest, and so basically now it's time to get them flying again through the summer. So I've got 2 falcons that are about ready to go free. One of the falcons went free yesterday, and that was really nice. Unfortunately the weather was absolutely rubbish, so rubbish falcon flying weather is hot, flat, no wind kind of days where the air just feels really heavy and humid. A bit like you don't want to run around in that kind of hot muggy weather. They don't want to fly in it, but I need to get these birds going soon, so it was a good opportunity just to give him a very quick flight, just to check that he's able to stretch his wings and come back to me. He's incredibly unfit at the minute. Over the next few weeks I'm going to be flying him in the morning so that we avoid the heat of the day, which makes life a little bit easier for everyone. I'm really looking forward to showing you what these falcons are capable of, because when they fly it's absolutely fantastic. Now I'm sure you're wondering what's been going on with the tawny owl chick and the little owl chicks. I can happily tell you that the tawny owl chick is heading up at the end of the week to Scotland, which is where he's going to be living, and he's been with a friend of mine being hand reared. Owls that get used as falconry birds or as educational ambassadors tend to be hand reared because it makes training a lot easier and it makes them much more comfortable with working with members of the public. Most of the time, and for most of the species of bird of prey, so hawks, falcons, eagles, we tend to let the parents do the work because we're working with very intelligent birds that are able to work out what we're asking of them on a daily basis. But with owls it's a little bit more challenging because they're not quite as intelligent, so we tend to find hand rearing them is much easier. The tawny owl is doing absolutely fantastically. He is just starting to fly now, and being a tawny owl they have a real desire to climb as well. Young tawny owls try to fledge quite early, and so they get very good at using their feet to climb up the tree, and so he's clambering up everything. He's driving my friend Livy absolutely insane, but he's going to go up to Scotland on Sunday, so he will be starting his new home there, and within a couple of weeks he will start his training to get him flying properly with his new falconer. So my friend Livy, who's training the owl, is also a falconer, and she's actually been working with birds since she was a kid. Her dad was a falconer as well, so she's very, very good at what she does. She's done a great job of hand rearing the tawny owl for me. The little owls have all settled in their new homes, and I've been getting lots of pictures and updates, which is great. They're also at the point now where they're starting to fledge, so they're kind of at the stage where they might fly a couple of meters, but not too far. They sort of look up and see what's going on, and then they'll find something that they think looks like a good ledge and they'll try and get up there. It doesn't always work, but within the next couple of days they'll be at a point where they are actually starting to make decent flights. So now is the time when the training starts and the falcons start to work with them to make sure that they understand sort of basic recall, if you like, just like with your dog. They start to build that working relationship and get those birds flying free as soon as possible. One of the little owls, if you remember, actually disappeared halfway through some of my videos, and that's because he was being naturally reared by his parents. They've done a fantastic job of looking after him, and I found him on the aviary floor the other day because he'd tried to fledge, and I popped him back in the box because he had no way of getting back up, which is a common problem with wild owls. They fledge a little bit early and they don't quite know how to get up, so I made it a little bit easier for the parents and popped him back where he should be. But he also will be ready to fledge soon. He's the owl that you might remember that most of you named Aldermort when they hatched. He'll be going off to be paired up with a female who's currently lost her male, so she's going to get a new boyfriend. I really hope you've enjoyed that update. As you can see, it has been crazy busy here this week because on top of all these new things that have been going on, the day-to-day stuff's having to happen, so I'm still having to clean, still having to fly birds, prepare food, and basically run around discussion circles. As always, thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. One final thing, I have now created a Facebook group which I'll pop down here, and on there, if you want to follow me on my day-to-day activities, you'll get a few little previews before the stuff that comes out on the video, so sort of updates as they happen, sort of behind the scenes stuff. I'm also going to be uploading some free stuff for you there, including some audio files of fables, boop boops and wows that you can use on your phone, so look out for those. So join us over on Facebook as well. Thank you as always for watching. You are all super awesome, and I will see you all very soon.